Hey, we're going to dive right into the proverb, chapter 16, verse 26 today, which reads, He that labors for himself, for his mouth craves it of him. Today's proverb is a discernment teaching for justice for those who are called as the First Peter 2 and 9 chosen generation, royal priesthood, judging between righteousness and evil, lies and truth. This is an instruction concerning human motivation and recognizing game. and, and to recognize game, I want to share with you a cautionary tale about to this day, 14 years into my legal career, I would say by far the most traumatizing case that I ever handled. And it was actually my very first divorce involving contested custody. And I'm going to start this tale from the end. I'm going to tell you what happened last to illustrate the principle of this proverb. After a very difficult 18 months of litigation, we got this settlement agreement hashed out between my client and her soon to be ex husband. We went in front of the judge to announce the terms of our settlement agreement to let the judge know that although we were scheduled today for trial, we worked it out in the hallway. All of the documents have been signed, and there is no need for a trial. The judge was satisfied with the announcement from both attorneys. Oh, actually, in this particular case, there were three attorneys because there was an attorney assigned for the children. We call guardian ad litem here in the state of Georgia. And all three attorneys made an announcement that the case was settled. Case was done. No need for trial, right? My client proceeded to ask permission to say something to the judge. And what she was ready to say next was enough to make me want to crawl up under my table and hide. My client put on this dramatic display to tell the judge that she did everything. She was a good wife to him. And she's pointing to him across the courtroom. She was a wonderful mother to their children. She sacrificed this and she sacrificed that, and she was so wonderful to him, and she didn't deserve any of this. And she proceeded, of course, in drama queen fashion, to give her thanks and appreciation to all of the attorneys for our work in the case. And then she sat down. She had given herself a complete closing argument in a case that did not even need a trial. She wanted this judge to see her as the sacrificial lamb who this divorce was brought against for no cause because of her perfect self-sacrifice. But here's what was really happening. What was really happening was that she was trying to convince herself that she wasn't selfish. She was trying to convince herself that she was motivated to do all the stuff she was doing because of her husband, because of her children. But the truth is taught in Proverbs. Be cautious of a person who's just insisting that their motives are truly self sacrificing. Because our primal motivation as human beings is self preservation. That is our primary motivation. I don't care how nice you think you are. I don't care how giving you tell me you are. I don't care about any of that. Yes, you could be nice. Yes, you could be giving. You can even be somewhat sacrificing. But at the end of the day, according to this proverb and according to historical precedent, when push comes to shove, our biggest fear as human beings is hunger. And this is where the law of every man for himself is on full display. This is why we read of accounts of Jerusalem under siege and parents eating their own children. Do not be deceived. First of all, don't deceive yourself that anything that you do for someone else is all about the other person. Do not be deceived that anything that you do in the name of the Most High is all about the Most High. No, you are clothed in flesh. My client was the perfect example of selfishness. She sat up there and gave herself a closing argument in a case that didn't even have a trial, gave herself a closing argument to convince herself, because everybody else peeped game, that she was the sacrificial lamb of this marriage. That woman was so selfish. That woman lost sight of what the children needed. That woman was on a war campaign to publicly destroy that man. What that woman wants, she wanted to have that man hung upside down in the middle of the city of Atlanta by his toes and publicly humiliated for not worshiping her as being the most beautiful and the most all that person that she saw herself as. Her sacrifices that she discussed in her little impromptu closing argument was all of her self-deception, that everything that she was doing for her family wasn't actually about her own survival. Because when it came down to the wire and he got tired of her foolishness that she never admitted, 18 months of traumatizing me as her attorney, everything she did was about her own survival. Everything she did was about her own comfort. Everything she did was about her own appearance in the public. Everything that she did was to make herself look good, feel good, and live good. And when he wasn't playing ball anymore, she was ready to destroy him for it. Today's proverb, the principle is about human motivation, true human motivation. Do not lie to yourself. Do not I don't care how much your feelings challenge you into believing otherwise. And I know that some of the more idealistic of us, myself included, look, I'm very idealistic, very romantic, right? Here is a case study and biblical precedent to support this interpretation of Proverbs, and it is found in 2 Kings chapter 6. And the king of Israel, who was under siege by Syria, his people were going hungry. Israel was under judgment for its idolatry and its rebellion against the Most High. A woman came to him for judgment. Remember that the kings represent the judge. And the woman came and she accused her neighbor, that she and the neighbor had a conversation one day. They were so hungry. The neighbor said to her, "Hey, why don't we eat your baby today? And then tomorrow we can eat my baby." So the woman who was the plaintiff in this case, she told the king that they did exactly what they planned concerning her baby. And they cooked her baby and they ate her baby. And when the next day came, when it was time for them to eat the other lady's baby, the other lady reneged. This is the perfect illustration of what this proverb is saying. People are wired for self-preservation. The woman who was the plaintiff in this case, she did not peep game that this lady made the offer to her to eat her baby first, because she was seeking to purchase herself another day for her survival and for her own child's survival. There is no such thing as true altruism in humanity. Let the United States fall into famine and watch how quickly your friendly neighbor who used to uh, blow the leaves off of your yard and put your trash out on the curb for you, watch how quickly they turn to self-preservation. Watch how quickly, when the food run out, they start looking at you at the side with a side eye like you might be the next barbecue. Watch how quickly human beings are no different than animals when it comes to our fear of hunger and our primal instinct for survival. Never allow any, I call them ghetto story. No emotional plea for you to be never be manipulated emotionally by somebody's story to convince you that everything they did was for somebody else, because according to the word of truth, it is not. We are all self-preserving by default. Yes, I am willing to help you. Yes, I'm willing to reach into my bag and share with you out of what I have. Yes, I'm willing to give to a certain point. But when it comes down between you and me, and it comes down to a question of whether or not I'm going to go hungry over the thing that I could give you, I will choose to eat because of my humanity. That is the truth about my nature. It doesn't matter how loving, kind, gentle, gummy berry I am. This is who we are in our humanity and in the defect or the frailty called hunger and survival. Remembering this helps you to discern past the ghetto story, to see the true motivation of any person that wants to convince you that they were the sacrificial lamb, so that you can see how they were preserving themselves the entire time. Hope this blesses and encourages you. What are your thoughts about this Proverbs? I'd love to hear your feedback.